سما.
سما، عملت هالفيلم مشانك. بدي إياك تفهمي شو اللي كنا عم نقاتل مشانه.
Those were images from one of this year's most acclaimed documentaries, a mother's film about her city under siege and why she chose to stay there with her baby while bombs dropped all around her. The harrowing, powerful and deeply human for Sama is about life in war-torn Aleppo. It gives us a rare female perspective of war. Journalist Waad al-Kateab documents Syria in 2016 with the Assad regime supported by the Russian Air Force pummelling the rebel-held city, destroying houses and hospitals alike. It's co-directed by British filmmaker Edward Watts. They both join me here in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this very powerful film. Now, Waad, you started out as a citizen journalist for Channel 4 News in the UK. You won numerous awards for your reports, but this film is different. It's dedicated to your daughter, Sama. Tell us why you wanted to make this film.
I've never could separate what I was trying to do between me as Waad, a person who's Syrian citizen, very involved with the revolution, and also this is a citizen journalist or anyone who working in the media. So it was just mixed through the whole things I was trying to do, and the same thing was the film. I did it because I wanted to tell the story in the way as I've seen as Waad, the woman who lived that situation, and Waad, the journalist who tried to document all the death around me.
Okay, and Ed, the siege of Aleppo has been the subject of many documentary films, but this does seem different. What changes when a woman makes a war documentary?
Well, it's a really good question because I've made films in conflict zones, and I think I don't want to denigrate my male colleagues, but I think we do have an instinct to go to the front line, to where the bombs and the bullets are being fired. And what Waad achieved, the amazing thing she did, was film the full spectrum of human experience in these kind of places. The basic things about life, like how do you cook a meal for dinner? What do you eat? How do you look after your kids? How do those kids go to school when you're under relentless bombardment? And I think that's the incredible thing that she achieved, was to capture all those scenes that we can relate to.
There's really a very simple thing in the film when your baby is having her bottle, and she's got the same bottle as my baby has.
Oh my God.
And it's that simple thing that really touches us, a simple life going on amid all of that. Now, it's a collage of images that you've collected over a period of 5 years, a massive amount of footage. And when you started filming, it was the peaceful protests.
Yeah.
In 2011, it goes through the Arab Spring and then to the bombings in 2016. There are many moments when people are going to want to look away that are painful to watch. It was a traumatic experience for you to live through. When you were watching all of this footage, what was that like for you?
It's so hard, really, and so difficult, especially that I know that I'm not there anymore. But, the same feeling I feel now. I'm watching this, and this has happened with me 3 years later, but this is still happening until now. I can't really describe how I feel when I'm knowing that this is still happening, and there's many mothers and families until now feeling the same situation in Idlib, the last area out of the regime control. So I don't care a lot really about what I'm feeling. I'm trying to ignore my feeling now, and I'm putting everything just as a big responsibility toward giving this film a chance to go around the world and make people know this experience.
Well, at one stage you did have your own home with your family in Aleppo, but in time you had to move to your husband's hospital and to live in it where he was a doctor. Let's take a look.
هاي غرفتنا. هدول اللوحات مخبين وراهم الدشم يلي بيحمونا من القصف. نعم روحي. عم نعمل جهدنا لنحس كأنه بيتنا.
Now, the hospital was often under attack. It was actually eventually destroyed in the bombings, and you had several friends and colleagues who died in that. But you always come across in the film as very calm, very brave. How are you really feeling?
Like, this is 5 years of our life, you know, like when you live every day, waking up in the morning, expecting that will be the last day. So you've never used to this, but you will trying to just feel it that as much as it's very hard and difficult, but it's real life. It's something happening every day. And when you are like, if there's bomb around and it's not you being killed, you feel like kind of victory that, oh, I'm still alive now. And this is some of the strength, or people have seen like this is a brave, but I feel it's just the normal feeling of us like, oh, we're still alive and we will have another day of chance of living that.
There's a very powerful scene in the film where we see a pregnant mother brought into the hospital. She's unconscious. She's been hurt in the bombings. We see an emergency cesarean and a baby, the doctor trying to resuscitate a baby. It's a terrible, terrible wait when we're watching this. Tell us about the significance of putting this moment in the film.
Like from the minute one, we knew that this is one important point of how the life looked like in that situation. And since, like, when I filmed that, I've never thought that this baby will be survive. And I had Sama at that time, she was around 4 months old. And just like filming that, I felt like, I don't know, I'm just keep filming this because this is important for people outside to understand that this is baby can't be a terrorist, as the regime and Russia propaganda trying to say about us as people. So when we sat together speaking about the film, like we knew that this part is so important to let people understand that whatever like the situation was and whatever the horror was, at the end, like there will be a hope. You don't know where that come from, but it's something you need to be strong for. And I don't know,
the spirit of the whole film, I think, is captured in that. That's why it's right at the middle of the film, because it's the heart of the soul of the whole story, which is that in the darkness and in the horror, life and hope can be born again. And that really is what the film's all about.
Now, a UN spokesman recently said the world had become numb to the carnage in Syria, but they're certainly not numb to this film. It's been an enormous success. You got a 6-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. Are you surprised by this reaction?
I'm so surprised by this reaction, and especially that when we started working on the film together, like there's another 2 cities were displaced, and as we now going around to speak about the film, Idlib city is still under bombardment and under the Russian and Assad regime attack, which I feel like, okay, people is reacting with this, and we need to try to have any chance of doing an action related to the film about the 3 million people who still living the same circumstances. I'm very disappointed from the governments and the decision makers around the world, the UN and all this organization, but I'm still really feeling hope about the people, the reaction that we have all over the places around the world, and I'm still have hope that, we can make change.
I'm not sure it's clear from the images we've shown, but this film is also a love story, your love story. We witness you meeting Hamza, falling in love, getting married, as all this violence is escalating around you. Your husband is one of the few doctors who stayed. We hear in your narration to your daughter in the film Summer, will you blame me for staying here or blame me for leaving? I have to ask you, can you explain to us why you did stay?
Like, it's very complicated, but it's also very simple. Like, we are Syrian, and we knew from minute one of the revolution that this is the way where we want and we need as a country and as a human being of at least like choose the life that we want and the life that we deserve as a human being. So like this is one way and there's no U-turn in this one. And we need just to keep fighting to the last minute of our life to bring justice to these people, to the people who we lost. Just like our country and our home, and Hamza is a doctor, he has a big role to do in that situation. And I'm a journalist, I can film and I can communicate with many people outside. And I had the film now, which is just one step of trying to give an evidence for the whole world about what was happening in Syria.
Now, Waad, you now live in the UK with your husband and your 2 daughters. You're safe now. Yeah. Do you think you'll ever go back to Syria?
This is the hope that we all living for. And I'm not speaking just about me. Like, there's 6 million refugees around the world waiting for the moment when Assad regime will be out of Syria and not controlling Syria anymore, so we can be back and be in our country as we want and try to fight for our free Syria. I think this is the only hope that I'm still living for, and this is why I'm still fighting with this film until today.
And what are your hopes for your daughters now?
I'm trying now as much as I can to provide them with the best life they deserve, and the hope really to see one day that a free country where we can be back and walk with them in Aleppo streets and show them where the hospital was and where our house. Just really the best future for every child around the world.
Waad, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Edward. It's been a pleasure to have you both on the show. Fasama is out in France now. Remember our website, we're also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
بحبك كثير أكثر من
في ضرب كتير اليوم. سما أنا بعرف إنك عم تفهمي شو عم بصير. بقدر شوف هالشي بعيونك. ما عم تبكي مثل أي طفل عادي. وهذا الشي اللي عم يحرق لي قلبي.